Okay. Loc Doc.
Welcome to the Cherrywood Podcast with the lovely Simon Burridge and big boobs Rachel Burridge.
You're like a rugby player. I would like to.
This jumper, it's a bit baggy, isn't it? Don't do justice.
Right, we're with the Loc Doc, Kai, and that's not how you spell Kai, but we won't go into that. Right, mate, do you know about the sign?
No, I saw someone guessing something about
how long it is before it falls off. If you're the nearest, we'd give £100 to a charity of your choice.
Oh, how good's the tape you've got? What
Shite.
tape? Yeah,
ask him all the questions that you want, yeah.
6 minutes.
That's not a bad shout.
Yeah, well, because
6 minutes.
it depends how old the tape is, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If it's been up there a while.
It's a couple of podcasts old.
Oh, okay. Let's go 8 minutes.
I was happy with 6. No, go 8. 8's not bad.
I'll go in the middle 7. There.
And I pushed it hard. Pushed it in hard this morning. and that sign. Anyway, right. Okay, so we go to our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll talk to Kai, the Loc Doc.
Today's sponsors are Dimodici Associates, Chartered Structural and Civil Engineers.
Based in the UK with a worldwide reach.
Visit their website on dimodiciassociates.com.
This podcast has been brought to you by Snug Dubs, camper van hire.
Roam the world, park anywhere.
That's snugdubs.co.uk. And we're back. There we go. Right, hello mate, nice to meet you.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Come in a bit more if you want. There you go, perfect. I need a couple of fits there. There we go, that'll be fine. Right, so tell us about yourself, Kai.
So I'm a locksmith operating in Kent. I am a single, no, I'm not single, I'm married, but that sounds, my wife would be kicking off. I'm a single occupancy person working in my business.
And
it's
ready
just
to
me.
Mingle, yeah?
Never. Happily married, 5-month-old baby. So I work out of a van, effectively mobile, and cover the Kent areas.
And he's on the podcast because he noticed a key stuck
really
in our door outside the studio, and he rang us up. He went, "You've left the key in now." I was like, "No, we haven't, but thank you so much." Because the calf next door had left the key in there, but that's really good.
And I noticed that from at least 20 foot away, which was quite...
Yeah, that's right.
You got some good eyes
Other
on
side
you.
of the road on the traffic lights, was you?
I said, I was sitting in traffic. I just looked over and went, "There's a key in that door."
So you're really good at your job.
Yeah, very good, yeah.
So, you're a bit of an Instagrammer, aren't you, as well? What is it you're on, mainly?
Instagram and Facebook, really. But Instagram, I've got I've actually run a competition for Halloween just recently, so I'm gaining followers because you have to follow me to get in the competition. So,
That's a good idea.
So I think I'm just over 7,010 followers on Instagram.
Beautiful, yeah.
3,500 likes on Facebook.
You don't have to just talk about Loc Doc. You can talk about your barbecuing, innit? You do.
Yeah,
is this why you're this, or was you this size before?
This is next doorman stance. I used to do door work, but I also like wine.
Do you know...
I wouldn't like to mess with you.
Andy Jefferson. Do you know Andy Jefferson?
No.
364 security boy.
I know the company, but
they're all doormen, I think. They've been doormen before. Yeah. Nice guys as well. All look like you.
very, very handsome.
Yeah. Good boys.
I would shit myself if I met you in an alley sort of thing.
I can't put an age to you.
That's funny because I don't hang around in alleys, but my mum said that as well, which is really weird.
His victims usually end up in alleys, though. What was it? I reckon you're about 37. Am I right?
I'm 38, yeah. 38.
Oh, that's good.
But I've got a good hairline, so I don't tend to look my age.
Same age as my wife, you are. Yeah. So, you play your cards right, I'll come on to you. What was it? Right, so how did you start out?
Make me sweat now.
You're only human. How did you start out as the Loc Doc then, mate? Or where did you start from?
So let's take it back to... I've had a few jobs. I started as an estate agent in the Docklands area.
Oh, yeah.
When I left school. The day after I passed my driving test, I was driving to the Docklands, which was quite, it made me a good driver.
Were you able to pull out on junctions?
Yeah, and I could park in really, really tight spaces, yeah. So I was doing that for like 9 years.
Can I ask what got you into that straight away? Is it just a job you went for a number of jobs and that was one of them? Or
my sister's best friend at the time was working for the company that I went to work for. Right, okay. So she got me an interview. It wasn't something I'd leave school with destined to be an estate agent.
Yeah.
But I went there for the interview and I got the job. And I think I actually probably messed the interview up, but he kind of realised I was, young and naive. But I made a really good go of it, and I was I was letting flats to Barclays Bank for £3,000 a week, and this was the height of the banking when the banking was fine. Then the market crashed, and I got made redundant. And I went to a couple of other estate agents, and one of them within that time was really, really good. I really enjoyed working there, but again, that was a redundancy firm. I went into security because I had to find a job to pay the mortgage, and obviously what I knew was not feasible anymore. So I went into security. I used to do nightclubs, event security.
Locally or in London?
I've worked London and local. I worked on Shaftesbury Avenue, right next to the Les Mis.
Oh yeah, we were literally up there the other day. Yeah.
There used to be a club next door called Avalon, and I worked there.
Just so people know, there's work going on next door, so you will hear a rumble every now and then.
It's not my stomach. So I went into security. I was doing that. I was working locally in Rochester as well, and there used to be a club called Crystal's nightclub. I used to work there.
I don't remember Crystals, do you?
It used to be called the Manor Club before. It was only open for a short period of time. It was open because all the neighbours used to complain about the noise, so they had a lot of infringement where they had to get like barriers and things out, and it was a lot. Anyway, they closed that down. I then bought a local shop called Pips. If you know, it used to be in Rochester High Street opposite the cathedral. It was a fruit and veg shop.
Yes.
It's now, I think it's now a dog treat shop.
Yeah, I know where that is. Yeah.
So I sold my house and had a bit of money and invested it into a business. And
Jesus Christ, this geezer, what is he doing, mate?
He's trying to cut the floor and it's about lifting it off the floor. I bought that business with a business partner. Turned it all around, made it into like a deli type place. Got some really good customers. King's School was one of them, so they're private school, and decided that we weren't working very well as a team.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
It is when he's a business guy, and having a business partner is probably not his thing. So I sold that business out to him. I then decided I wanted to buy a snack wagon because I found a bit of land that was going to go well because they weren't going to charge me for it. So I bought a snack wagon and set that up and done really well with that.
Got a question about that.
Go on.
Is it like very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Hard not to eat the food?
Well, I know the answer to that. Is it sort of, not gang, what's the, like territory?
No.
Is it very
No, like ice cream wars.
Territorial.
No.
Territorial, that's the word.
No. You like ice cream wars and you're not allowed to go on their land.
I've not seen Ice Cream Wars.
No, that's the thing. It's not a TV show.
Oh, right.
It's the thing about like if you've got an ice cream van, other ice cream vans, they swear at each other because you're driving up there. But I was on a fixed location.
I've had a mate that's owned one of them before and been outside nightclubs, and then another one pulls up, and then baseball bats.
This was a trailer. It was fixed. So between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. I was fixed outside of a destination, and it was just a bit of like it was a derelict building that they were trying to sell, and he said, look, we can't use the land, so I just went there.
Good little earners then, weren't they?
It was good.
Yeah.
I'd quite like that. I think because then you can still do your.
All day?
I don't do cooking.
The thing is, when you cook all day, and I like cooking anyway, but when you're cooking all day, you don't eat the food. It's
So
I can imagine.
But it was good. I built it to a good thing, and then I thought enough's enough. It was like if it's raining, if it's windy, you can't really open. So I sold it. I sold that. Mm-hmm. So I sold that out to a guy who actually didn't want the picture, just wanted the wagon because it had all like pictures on the outside, and it was like wrapped.
Okay,
it looked really good.
Yeah. Did you make the wagon yourself?
No, I bought it. I bought it from Leytonstone in London, and on the way back, the tyre blew out on it, and we were stuck on the services for about 5-6 hours waiting for a recovery. Yeah, so that was that's a story as well in itself. But yeah, so that was all right.
I like the fact you've tried a bit of everything.
Yeah, everything. I then decided I wanted to go employed, so I went to work for a housing company that done temporary accommodation. So they dealt with people that had left prison or just fallen hard times, or their landlords had sold the property and they had nowhere to live. So I became I took my...
Well, they're like HMOs type places.
Yeah, a lot of HMOs or single residents. But I took my security aspect of what I do and I kind of made my own role in it really, because they kind of needed someone that dealt with the people that weren't looking after the places, or there was a lot of drugs and violence. So I took my my security role in and basically become like an antisocial behaviour officer. And something happened.
But that's hard.
Yeah, I don't mind.
With homelessness comes mental disability.
There was a lot of mental health issues. There was a lot of drug issues. Many times you go and there's needles on the floor. People, unfortunately, overdosing and passing away in the properties. I was lucky that I actually never
experienced.
I never found one. I was very close. I knocked on the door and there was a dog behind the door. And I said, I'm not going in because I don't know the temperament of the dog. Walked away. And the next day we got a call saying the police had turned up and he was in bed dead. Wow. And I could have walked in and found it. So,
so the dog was probably warning you or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So the manager of the company at the time actually took the dog and rehomed him.
Oh, right. Okay.
Which was quite, I think he's still got the dog now, actually.
Blimey, so it wasn't long ago then?
That was 7 years ago. Right. So the dogs, I think the dog was, must have been a puppy. Then one day I got a call to say that someone had been murdered. It was a county lines drug dealing thing where they'd come down from London and one of the residents had been involved somehow, and he'd basically been stabbed once in the heart and bled out on the floor.
Oh my God.
And this was this area?
Maidstone.
Right.
And I had to deal with the CCTV, gaining evidence for the police and things. And it's okay. It's not nice to see. It's one of these things in life. Unfortunately, things happen. But when I was on my honeymoon in Mexico, so I got married in 2019 and was on my honeymoon, and I sat there.
Cancun?
I went to Cancun, yeah.
Yeah, I've had a honeymoon now. I've been married a couple of times. I've had a honeymoon.
You're so nosy today. Everything is like, where'd you?
Apparently, that's when you're doing an interview with someone, you've got to be nosy.
No, I've been there. I've done that.
Sorry.
It's okay. I enjoyed it. No, anyway, I was
in Cancun.
Yeah, I was laying on the sunbed. The wife was a bit hungover, and I thought, do you know what? I don't think I'm getting the best out of this job. It's not, it's not great, and I wasn't earning enough. So I
sitting in Cancun.
Yeah.
After a wedding.
That's why I wasn't earning enough. No,
still paying it off.
We was very lucky that my wife's granddad and her mum and dad put money towards it, so we was good. But I decided I wasn't earning enough, and I suppose going self-employed wasn't the best thing to do, not earning enough. But I think I wasn't earning enough for the role.
Yeah.
So I sat there and thought, what can I do? How many chippies do I know? And I don't mean chip shops. I mean how many carpenters, electricians, etc., etc. There we go.
More the 8 than the 6. Yeah. I'm happy to give you the 8.
I reckon that's 7. Do we not? We don't know, do we?
I'll have to tell you after.
Oh, okay.
I can frig it and edit it, so that's not anywhere near.
I thought you would.
Then I don't have to pay the quid for anyone.
Yeah, you seem the type, especially a charity. Yeah. So I thought, what? I know a lot of people that do a lot of things. I know a lot of people. So if I wanted a carpenter, I know probably 5 or 6. If I know electricians, so what can I do? So a friend of mine at the time was an auto electrician. He'd done car keys.
All right.
And I kind of thought, no, not electrician, sorry, auto locksmith. And I thought, what can I do? So I thought I'm going to look into locksmithing. I don't know any locksmiths. And if you think of a locksmith, you think of an old man with dungarees and
coming into
picking locks.
Yeah, with like the geezer that did up Woody. Where's loads of different little magnifying glasses that appear. But yeah.
And when you think of trying to get into a lock, you think of a hairpin and in films and that.
Yeah. Well, I said, can you bring a lock for us to pick, didn't I? And you went, it's not like that.
I don't hand pick locks. That's lock sport. There are people that do hand pick, but they tend to be more people that like warrant officers, so they'll go in if you haven't paid your gas bill. They'll go in, and
so they don't do it for a living, but they
they do, but it's more of an old school thing. If you think I'm a business that I've got to be in and out quick, so I'm not sitting here wasting time trying to single pick pin.
So time's money for you, isn't it?
So when you said about bringing it, I said, well, I could bring in my electric gun, but it's loud and it's
Is it louder than this guy's doing the floor?
No. In hindsight, I should have brought it in. We would have
overpowered him.
Yeah. So I thought, what can I do? I'm sort of down with the kids when it comes to Instagram, and I've got a brain that doesn't stop when I think about how can I improve something. So my idea was I want to disrupt the narrative of what a locksmith is and how you advertise that business to get people. So I'm very active with the way I do things, whether it be drone footage or I've got Ray-Ban Meta glasses.
Oh yeah.
So I film like a POV of me doing the job.
Yeah, wicked.
And then I'll edit it so it's you can see how I've done it, and it gives you like an insight as to what the job involves. But then you have to be mindful you're not giving away how to get to someone's house. Not only because you can find a lot of that out on YouTube, but I don't want to be liable for someone's house getting broken into because they know how we do things. So,
cool.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at now. That was 6 years ago, and I've got some very big customers, and I'm now on the verge of trying to franchise the business.
Right. Okay.
So I've got a registered trademark on the logo and the name. And
is that you?
This was me at a wedding.
It was you at a wedding.
Yeah, so I sent a picture. Do you know the website Fiverr? It's like freelance.
Yes, yeah.
So there was a person in Sri Lanka that was offering logo design.
Yeah.
I saw some of their logos and thought they looked pretty good. So I sent them a picture of me at a wedding. I used to have my hair like this.
Yeah.
And I said, "Can you make me a doctor but slim?" And they come back with that.
Wicked.
I'd already thought of the name.
Loc Doc, yeah.
And so now I've got registered trademark IPO on that.
So how long's Loc Doc been going for?
6 years.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so
you've been doing it for a long while now then?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Nice.
So what's the most common lock you'll be doing? Cars?
No, I don't do cars. Cars is... So I didn't want to do cars, obviously, because my friend was doing it at the time. I'd be like stepping on his toes, but it's also a very expensive role to get into. Like the machines are expensive.
It must be completely different though, right? It must be sort of like a different avenue.
Well, it's electronic now, cars, isn't it? It's more of a signal now than a key.
So I've got... one of my customers has got a Lamborghini and messaged me they need a new car key. So I've messaged the auto guys and they're like,
no time.
We can't do it. It's dealer only.
Right, yeah.
Or the new
That's not cheap.
No, or the new Audis, you can't touch them. So you can't get new keys from them. So it's probably going to be a dying thing unless you change the way you're going, whether you can get dealer only stuff to make these keys.
Yeah.
So yeah, mainly what I do is it's kind of a 50-50 split really between residential and commercial. So I do work for a lot of commercial companies that own... It could be shops that are empty or like warehouses that are empty, and then I have to go and either secure them or change the locks.
I was going to say that. Are you involved in actually doing the replacement of lock, not just breaking into place?
No, I do all the repairs, replacements, servicing. Someone say, "Oh, that's not working properly." I'll go and make sure it works properly. And there's different ways of doing that. It's a day to day. You never know where you're going to be. I went to Ashford yesterday. I was in London on Friday. So
a lot of miles, mate. No.
Yeah, one of my customers, they're a good customer, so they've got a property in London, so will you go up there? As long as you're going to cover the cost of my travel and time,
yeah, of course,
I'll do the job.
Yeah.
So do you have to have any like training or any sort of qualifications to become a locksmith? Or
So you don't actually have to be qualified. There is nothing to say that you can't be a locksmith if you just called yourself a locksmith. There is a lot of people in this area that call themselves locksmiths that aren't.
Okay.
They're part-time, and it really grates me because like I'm a full-time, this is my job. If I don't get any calls, I don't work. If it's not about locks, I don't do it. Whereas there's people that could be carpenters, but they'll go and do garage doors, they'll do windows, doors, patio drives or building, stuff. And some of these people are part-time DPD drivers. So they'll finish work at 2 p.m. and then they'll
go and do the extra bit.
Yeah, and people assume you're getting someone that knows. I mean, they obviously know what they're doing because they're doing the job, but have they got insurances that I have? Have they got the parts warranties that I have? Who knows? So I'll always offer you a 1-year warranty of everything I do, and my insurance is covered up to £5 million. So
yeah. Yeah, well, it's got to be, innit? But do you ever have... This is going to sound weird. Have you ever been accused of a burglary after you've been there to do a lock?
No, and
do you know? Yeah, but you know where I'm coming from.
No, and I'll make sure I cover myself with this aspect. So I'll give you 3 examples of things that I do. If you want a key safe and I've installed the key safe for you, you set the code. I don't want to know it.
Yeah, of course.
If I get a broken key out of your lock, you're having the part back, whether you're going to put it in the bin or not. I don't want it because then I could be accused of cutting a key in property. Yeah. And the other thing that I make sure that I do is if I'm honest and reliable, you know, I've got great Google feedback. I've got great Facebook recommendations. I think someone mentioned that I'm the kind of locksmith you'd want to send to your nan.
Yeah,
you'd be happy to send to your nan. Yeah, I'm not going to rip her off. I go to people's properties and I go, it just needed a bit of spray in it. How much is that? Don't worry about it.
Some others could just...
They'll go, you need a new lock or locking mechanisms. I work on a recommendation basis. I got tested by a guy. He used to own Europe's second biggest demolition company.
Right.
And he owned a massive barn. And he called me out and we walked round and he I didn't realise what he was doing, but he said, have you ever been asked to open anything you shouldn't? And I said, it's not worth my time. Like, I earn a very good living out of what I do. I'm not a criminal. I'm fully DBS checked. And if I was to start
doing dodgy stuff,
then that's my business, my livelihood and everything. Yeah. And there's a chance you can go to prison. I don't want to go to prison. Yeah. I've got a family, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, I said, no, it's not something I do. 2 weeks later, he called me back to replace all the locks on his barn. He'd obviously tested and seen that I wasn't, a dodgy character, and then got me in to do the job. So no, I've never touched wood.
What if a criminal was to call you?
Oh God, are you just giving random scenario? Really random.
A criminal. He doesn't ring you up and say, hello, I'm a criminal. He says,
you can generally tell by the way that
I'm in
stuck
prison
outside my house, mate.
Yeah, but never said
do you need proof?
No, you don't need to, but you have to. You have to show due diligence. So I will. One, if it sounds dodgy, I'm not interested. I'm not available. I will ask for ID, and if your ID isn't
driver license got their
if your ID is in the property, then I'll open the door because I've shown due diligence. I've asked for it. Tell me what's inside the. Oh, there's a pair of shoes and there's a parcel. Brilliant. Well, I know you've been in there, or you've looked for a letterbox. Go and get your ID. Let me have a look. Because if I suspect anything is untoward, I'll call the police.
Have you ever had that?
Untoward?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually had a guy call me and he sent me a picture of the lock and I could see it was a bit like, that doesn't match what he said, blah, blah, blah. I said, look, I'm not interested. Well, I didn't say that. I said, no, I'm not available. 2 weeks later, it's actually, and it was a block that I do work for the managing agents for. So 2 weeks later, they said, hey, look, this happened. And basically they'd been evicted. And the landlord had changed the locks. They wanted to get back in. And they said, this CCTV, and the guy walking in, the locksmith, was someone I know. One of the guys that I've mentioned that isn't a full-time locksmith.
Yeah.
And I said, I know who that is. Anyway, it turns out that they'd gone in and when the landlords had gone back in, their bomb disposal team got called because I think they were making drugs, but there was chemicals in there that looked like you could be making bombs. And it got closed, the whole building got closed. But the police didn't want to know. They were like, oh, you just put it in the bin. And they were like, we think this is bomb making. Anyway, it got sent up to someone and they said, we're going to come over and have a look. And then they closed the building down. They had forensics in suits. They had like bomb disposal teams there.
Oh my God.
And did they establish that it was drugs?
I think they established, they'd been cutting up drugs.
Please, just put it in the bin.
Just put it in the bin.
I've been into a lot of buildings where the landlord said, the tenants are gone. We need to get in because we've got no keys. We've opened it up and it used to be a drug den. Yeah, there's like cables hanging, holes in the ceiling.
And all the TP like mark.
No, because they get rid of it. Well, they get everything out, don't they? So there'll be like empty mud pots on the floor where they've emptied them out. They've taken all the bits, all the lights, everything. It's just holes in the ceiling, hose pipes. One of the customers, we went in, the police gone in and raided and they'd kicked one of the hoses and it had been leaking for like a week in the house. And it was like this beautiful Victorian house and it had all this cornice and everything. It had all collapsed. It had all just fallen and it was just mouldy plaster on the floor. So
I'm so naive to all that stuff. I'm like, oh look, they just watered indoors or something like that.
You wouldn't.
They've got loads of plants indoors.
We have no idea what goes on around us.
No, not at all.
I speak to police all the time and they say if you knew what went on in your area, you wouldn't live there.
No, exactly. There's this one house, right, as you enter Gravesend, and it's always got the shiny silver curtain in front of it for years and years. And I'm talking 20 years, the same shiny silver curtain. It literally should have a sign saying drug den or something above it.
Yeah, but they might not have heating.
Yeah, it might be something innocent. Surely it's been investigated after 20 years.
Because we had one when
but it looks rank. And living next door to it must be a nightmare.
Yeah,
it's like a terraced house and living next door, but it's looked the same. I might even go as far as say it's 30 years. It's had the same thing outside of it.
Yeah, but it might be something like they said, like they can't afford
we had a property that had tinfoil at the windows, and we was like, that's a drug den. We went inside, and they were just, no, the heat, we can't afford the heating, so we put tinfoil against the windows.
Yeah. It's sad, isn't it? Yeah.
So going back to locksmithing, what are there any common misconceptions?
Is locksmithing a word?
Yeah,
Locksmithing is the adjective of locksmith. You are locksmithing.
Locksmithery, isn't it?
As a locksmith, yeah, people think you're. I think people think you're going to be a really good burglar.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask as well. Do you get approached when you're breaking into something sometimes? Oi, mate, what are you doing?
So this logo is blazoned on the back of this jumper.
Yeah. My
van has got reflective locksmith signs, so that it's a very distinguishable van. And if you live in the area and you know. Right. Locksmith, I've had reflective so that people can see it at night. And
you still get approached?
No, I did. So when I first started out, I got approached. Someone thought I was breaking in with a spade into someone's house. And we have a thing called a door spreader, which is basically a flat bit of metal on a tube. And what you do
leverage,
is, it's sort of a bit of leverage because in new PVC doors there's movement.
Yeah.
And that was the spade. And the police turned up. We've had reports you're breaking in with a spade. I said, I'm a locksmith, and that's the spade. And they was like,
okay,
yeah, don't worry about that. We can see what you're doing, mate. Yeah. So I always make sure that I'm visibly marked up as a locksmith.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to come and say anything, I'm not doing anything I shouldn't. So, no. But you'd be surprised how many people don't. They could walk past, you'd be drilling someone's lock out. You could get a T-shirt at Locksmith, and you could.
Yeah, of course.
People don't want to approach because they assume everything's okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you're bold about it, people, most of the best burglars are the bold ones. Do you know what I mean? Just rocking, Ivy's on.
But I was always told you have to have 3 forms of security to keep something safe. So you have to have a lock, obviously, on your door. You then have to have security footage, like camera or something like that. And then like a Ring doorbell or something like that as well. If there's 3 forms, then it's really hard to break into someone's house or car or something like that. That's what I was told in security training.
Tell us she's wrong, Kai.
It's the cheese hole effect or whatever they call it.
Just put a balaclava on the camera's useless.
And this turn up with a box on your head.
Well, this is the problem. Because of COVID, everyone was covering their faces, and no one thought anything of it. And still to this day, people are, if you see me wearing a mask, you just assume I've got COVID. Mm-hmm. Have I, or am I just covering my face?
No, you're right.
That's true.
Yeah, I think just choose
the hoodie and the balaclava give it away, though, don't they? You know they're up for something.
Yeah,
Use your moped or something.
Yeah,
but hoodie.
Balaclava. The beard's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, the beard's the mask.
When I first started, tattoos have got they're more, massively more socially accepted now. But 6 years ago, I think it could have just been getting into the point of where they were a bit.
You question if someone was covered, you're questioning.
Are you a criminal?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a criminal, but I used to put gloves on. Like,
do you have any more? Do you have them all over you?
I've got them up my arms, my legs, my chest, and my back's being done at the minute.
What are you down on your back?
It's just a big big padlock on my back.
So in the summer, when it's really hot, you can still say to people,
and my wife's having a key tattooed up her forearm. No, it's like a Chicano style. Right. I've got a 67 Cadillac down the bottom, some writing at the top, and then I've like a Chicano lady's face on one side. But he started doing the face, and I tapped out. I mean, I've never been one for pain being a problem, but that hurt. So he started the face, and then I said,
how long was that then? How long did that take?
They're about 6 hours each. So the top is 6, the bottom 6, the side. He started in about an hour and a half into it. I stopped.
Oh, right.
So I've got half of.
What's he hitting? What was he hitting?
Ribs?
Hitting a bit of the spine, or?
I don't know. Well, I doubt you'd better touch my spine. There's a lot of padding there. It's just, I think the problem is it just hurt. It was hurting here.
A nerve somewhere.
It was hurting here, but it was tattooing on my back. So it felt like I was burning. So I had to stop.
Okay.
So, Anyway, the tattoos was a thing, but now, I'll go to elderly people's houses and they don't even flinch. I think, as long as if I'm smiling at you and I'm telling you what
Rag
you need to
and
know.
Bone Man's out there, I think.
Do you reckon? Yeah. Where is he now, though?
I don't know, where is he now?
I'm still here, but he's not.
That's right. You don't hear from Rag and Bone Man,
Maybe
do
you are that person.
Maybe.
I definitely
Can you
can't.
sing?
No. I can hold a tune, but I'm no singer.
But you are a cooker, though. So tell us about your barbecue thing. And you've got,
I'm
you've got
not.
an Insta on that, and haven't you?
Yeah, Fat Boy Barbecue.
Is it really
but
called
with
that?
a PHAT, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
And
Straightened that right up.
I actually was alfresco flavours to start with, but that
After spell.
it just didn't sound right. It sounded a bit boring. Yeah, a bit boring. Yeah.
So Fat Boy
Bit
Barbecue,
poncy.
is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm no expert at barbecue. I just like cooking, and I built an outdoor kitchen mainly because I don't like the smells in the house. We've got an open kitchen, and
Yeah.
I'm the cook. My wife doesn't cook. I do all the cooking. I enjoy it. She hates it. So yeah, I do that, and
So we do brisket and stuff.
I've done a brisket, and it was awful.
Oh.
I thought I really messed it up. I think I bought a bad bit, but I actually got a really good. I like a bargain, so I got a really good deal on a Kamado style grill from one of my customers. He was getting a proper one. I bought this off him, and then I bought a pizza oven.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got an outdoor
Would you
pizza oven.
recommend those? Because I've always looked at
I've
those
always
and
liked the
thought,
idea of a pizza oven.
Gosney.
But too much pizza is not...
No, but when you make it yourself, it's nowhere near the calories.
Okay, good.
Yeah, make your own dough.
I make it with
cauliflower.
cauliflower. If I'm on a
base.
That sounds
carb-free...
awful.
Mate, you'll be surprised how awful it is. No,
I've tried cauliflower rice, and I like cauliflower, but cauliflower rice isn't a bit of me.
Oh, yeah, but when you mix it with a bit of cheese...
Yeah, you add an egg, add lots of paprika, salt, pepper, loads of cheese to it, and then you roll it out like a pizza base. You cook that, and then put whatever toppings you want on top. Our kids love it.
And it's always going to still be a little bit sloppy compared to bread. You ain't going to be able to pick it up like you pick up bread. But
We used to make
I
them
don't like
tortilla wraps.
cauliflower, but I like that.
Yeah, tortilla wraps are good. You can make them with that because
Yes.
they're low carb as well. 'Cause you can get carb like ones.
Yeah.
I just decided to cook and film it and put it on Instagram. And then I've had a couple of companies. So Gosney Pizza Oven actually sent me a pizza peel.
What's a pizza pill?
It's what you turn the pizza.
stick.
Yeah, so you got a pizza paddle, you put it in, then you got a pill, which is how you turn it, like a turning pill.
Oh, right. Okay. What's it like?
turn
Hinged,
the-
is it?
Yeah,
It's got gear on it or something?
No, it's got like a slidey tube up like a handle that slides up, and you basically just turn it in the pizza oven.
So
okay.
it cooks all the way around. So, that's clever.
Yeah, and then a spice company, the Turkish spice company, sent me some skewers and some spices, and I've done a video for them. As
So
well.
did you approach them or did they approach you?
The spice company approached me, but Gosney, I actually approached them. And I'd had a drink one night and thought I was funny, so I wrote them quite a funny message about my daughter being born and my wife won't let me spend any money on anything else. So because I know that 3 or 4 people have bought the pizza ovens because of what I've shown them. I said, look, come on, there must be something you can do for me. How about a turning pill? And they're about 60, 70 quid. And they sent me one out. So I was, yeah.
You don't know until you ask, right? They can always turn around and go, no. And you go, okay, thanks.
That's right. Yeah, the spice one, I've done kebabs and done it. I set it up with a light and camera and everything, and I got 60,000 views on TikTok on that.
Wow.
I sent that to them, and they were like, "Wow, thanks." That was pretty good. Yeah, I just like playing about with things, really. Playing about with food. Yeah.
What's your best meat to cook then?
Yeah, you must have a speciality.
Yeah, beef, because I go to Costco and they do the Aberdeen Angus. It's called a cowboy.
Other places.
They are, but they're not as good. Costco, if you're watching. No, they do what's called a cowboy ribeye. Basically, it's like a ribeye, but it's like a tomahawk without the big bone.
Yeah,
'cause you're paying for the bone and
Yeah,
weight,
of course you are, yeah.
and they're really good. So we buy 2 of them. They're about £32 for 2, and then me and the wife will share one meal and share one on another meal.
Wicked.
And that cooks really. I've got one of these thermostats called a meter, and it connects to your phone via Bluetooth. You put it in the meter and it tells you when it's cooked.
Oh, so it will send you a message.
Yeah, it just alerts your phone. You say, "Boop, done." And you set it to the...
So you're still sticking a spike in it, and that spike's sending the message?
It's basically a long stick, and you put that in the meat, and then that
And
connects to the
Bluetooth.
box, and the box connects to your phone.
How cool is that? That's good.
And you set it to how you want it cooked.
Just leave it
Well
then,
done.
can't you?
Well.
It does give you the option on chicken, weirdly, for medium.
Why do you want that on chicken?
I think it's just
Raw.
generic. I think it's generically across the board. It's
Blimey.
yeah. Don't eat that. Do not eat raw chicken. Make sure it's cooked.
Oh, excellent.
So going back to obviously locksmith, because that's the main thing here. What's the weirdest and strangest thing you've ever been asked to unpick?
Chastity belt or something?
No, unfortunately not. I don't. Nothing weird, but I suppose that the drugs dens are the ones that where they've been in and they've locked the door. They've actually locked the door and and left rather than just leaving the door open. They've actually locked up the property as well, which is strange. But
yeah,
I don't think anything really strange.
I suppose you don't really deal with safes, do you? It's a different sort of
different
lock,
league. I'd send them to a safe engineer. He could be there for 5 hours picking a safe. Wow. Depends, if
so you've got all these people that you can refer to.
Yeah, so I've got auto people. I send, if you call me for a car key, I'll send you to them. Safes, I'll send you to them. Window and door fitters, and I think Danny from Urban Rollers. He's my go-to garage guy. So any garage things I send to him, he's a really good guy.
So your property more than anything, getting into properties.
Yeah, properties. Yeah.
So what's the most challenging aspect of it then?
People. And trying to convince people that you opening their door really, really quickly still warrants the cost that you've given them. So I will give you a cost before I attend. I've had it where I've opened the door really quick and the guy said, "Well, I'm not paying you for that." I said, "Okay." And I closed the door. and then he went on to say, "Well, if I had that tool, I could do that." I said, "But you don't. And you can't buy it because you're not a locksmith."
Yeah.
And this kit, it looks like nothing. It's a way of opening doors if you left the key on the inside, for example.
Yeah.
And it costs £400. So it's an expensive bit of kit, and all the attachments are £200-300 each.
Yeah.
You don't have that, and if you did, it'd probably be in your house. But now you don't have it. What are you going to do? Oh, okay, well, I'll pay you. Please open the door. Well, you pay me first, and then you can see I can open it.
Yeah.
Pay me then. I'm a business. I'm not here to do it. I will do things for free.
Yeah.
If I feel that, I got a call on a Sunday and the lady said that she's a carer. The lady's fallen over. We need to get in because she's left the key on the inside of the door and we can see her through the door and she's on the floor and she's cut her arm open.
Then you just go and do it, didn't you?
Well, I went and done it. And then she's like, "Oh, thank you. How much do I owe you?" I said, "Don't worry."
Yeah.
I don't do that for clout. I do that because I'm a nice person.
Yeah,
I feel like if my nan was on the floor, God rest her soul.
Someone would do the same to you.
Yeah, if when my nans were alive, if they were on the floor, I'd like to think someone wouldn't rip her off on a Sunday,
100%.
and so
Absolutely.
So I do things for people. I'm a big believer in karma and just being a good person.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What about like all these smart houses that are coming up and?
Yeah, I used to have a smart door lock and I took it off. Yeah,
because everyone is now. It's all thumbprints, and we know a few people that have got all that.
So biometrics, unless you're spending thousands of pounds. Don't bother. Definitely don't buy biometrics from Wish because it's just going to fail and you won't be able to get in.
Or Sheen or something.
Yeah.
Even the high street brands like Yale, you can get a smart door lock that works on a basis of opening it with your phone or a tag, but unless you adjust your door accordingly, it doesn't work properly. So you've got to constantly adjust the door, and that's the thing that people don't understand. You can't just keep that door forever and never have to touch it. You have to do maintenance on it.
The thing is, when did it get so hard to not use a key?
Yeah, well, I went
It's
back
like
to
with light switches. Alexa, turn the lights on. What? You're having a laugh, ain't you?
I just turned our lights on at home, by the way.
I've got a smart house, but
Doesn't it not?
I took the lock, went back to old school. But I think if you saying about things about gaining entry, you need free. If you have a good, decent lock,
you won't need.
Yeah, I fit a brand that are really good, and they are, one of the best. Well, they are one of the best on the market.
It's like electric handbrakes for me. I can't grasp electric handbrakes. Why? What was wrong with it? What was wrong with it? Am I just old?
Yeah. No, I think the idea is because you don't technically have to put the electric handbrake on. When you turn the engine off, it automatically puts it on. So it's just like
something for you to physically do.
I've got a mate who's got a slope down towards his garage, And he couldn't work out how to get this electric handbrake. So he plowed the car into the garage because he couldn't work out how to get it off and go backwards at the same time. Oh. And I think they release their self, didn't they, once you start moving?
Yeah, so we've got a car with one. And
I don't think they're all the same, though. That's the problem. With an handbrake, no matter what car it was, they were all the same, weren't they? The electric ones can be a little bit different on each car.
I hope you gave him Danny's number when he done his garage door.
I don't know. It was a long time ago. I didn't know Danny back then.
So, what's some of the biggest mistakes you find that homeowners do to not secure their home really as well?
So not lifting the handle and locking the door.
Oh, yes.
A lot of people go out, close the door and lift the handle and then walk away.
I'm thinking it's locked without actually locking it.
Well, yeah, so it's not. What you've done is engage the mechanism.
Yeah, just to make it
But then if I was a burglar, I come up and pull the handle back down and now it's just on the latch. So with a screwdriver, I'm in. So I always tell people, lift, lock, check. If that handle moves down, it's not locked.
Yeah.
If it's solid to the, you can't pull it down, it's double locked. You've now engaged everything.
You have to lock ours. Yeah, if you lift it, and you can open it from outside.
Oh, yes, you've got the way your door's set up, but there's a lot of people that have them on a split spindle or an offset, which when you close it, the outside one doesn't pull the latch, but it will engage the hooks.
Yeah.
But a lot of it, you see when they walk away like that and
you watch them going, I can break into that really easily.
I bet he's examining every...
I say, well, if you have lost your keys, I'll be able to get in easy.
I'm not being funny. He's driving along looking at every door because he must have to see ours.
I go into people's properties and look at their locks. My dad, the other day, for some reason, he got some sofas in Essex, miles away. We had to hire a van to get there, right? We went to pick these sofas up and I walked in the house and I went, decent lock. This lady's dad had gone into a care home and they were getting rid of his furniture. And I walked in and I went, that's a good one. This is
I'll take the door.
This is a really old, they're really expensive. And she went, oh, good to know.
See, I've been in the toilet roll industry for 30 years and I look at people's bog roll.
Yeah. The way whether it's that way or that way.
2-ply, that's been embossed.
5-ply, they've spent some money on that.
I don't even think I've seen a 3-ply, if I'm honest.
I've got 3-ply from Costco.
Have you?
Yeah, 48 of them.
I'm only ever used to the leading brand of 2-ply. That's all I can say.
Brand.
Who is the leading brand?
I can't say, but there's puppies involved.
That's not the leading brand in my eyes.
I don't know.
Begins with a C and ends in Ushell.
Other brands are available.
So there are dogs and there's koalas.
The other thing people don't, or what they do that is wrong, is they use WD-40.
To do what?
I do.
So they go, my lock's stiff. Okay. WD-40.
Yeah, bit of water in there. Yeah. That's all right.
Now, but you know what WD stands for? Water displacement.
Yeah.
Do you know that? So it dries everything out, displaces water. It's not a lubricant. Nowhere on it does it say lubricant.
Right, we have
works though.
Well,
it
sometimes.
doesn't.
It works immediately.
Yeah, it works immediately. And then 3 or 4 days later, you go, why is that still? I've had it where people put cooking oil in their locks and it's all like yellow down the door.
Tell you what I know. You know when you shut a door and the catch doesn't quite catch? Do you know the trick? With a pencil.
Yeah.
Do you know what I want about?
Don't do that.
And then you get pencil. Thank you. Then you get pencil all over you.
That's basically like what you're saying is graphite. It's like graphite powder, but
it's making it slippery.
But that all just gets in and clogs up inside because it's not.
Don't worry about that, folks. It works.
What you need is another thing called GT85. It's made by WD-40 and it's a PTFE silicone that will resolve a lot of your issues.
There you go.
It's funny you see on Facebook people say, I've broke my key and then everyone's like, get a glue stick, get some glue and put it in and
you're like
please don't do that.
GT85. Now, is that more expensive than WD?
No.
Or is it cheaper because it's not known like WD?
But it's made by WD. On the back, it's got WD. It's a brand of WD-40. 40 is the 40th trial that got that recipe right as well.
Yeah, someone else told me that because when we...
You can do a lot with WD though. You spray it on your knees and everything, can't you?
No, you can't. We Googled this.
You can spray it on your knees.
No, it
just won't do anything.
It won't do nothing, yeah. You spray it where you like.
But we Googled this the other day when we were doing our trek. Someone said, I might have to just get some WD-40 on my knees. And we went, shut up. He went, no, seriously. And he actually believed it. So when we got some signal, we Googled it and went, you cannot do that. That is really dangerous. We're like, were you Bionic Man or something?
It's a different compound. That's what it is. The GT85 is a silicon. WD is not. It's a water displacement. It's designed to dry things out.
I've actually got the silicon WD.
And yet
you can get that as well.
It's the silver colour. It's not. Yeah. It's not. See, I know my stuff.
And yet you still colour in the little things and get.
When did I last colour in a catch? It's only the catch on the door when it doesn't quite matter. I said, look, this works. So you put pencil over it and then it catches and goes in. Not a lock.
Yeah, or just adjust the door strike and then it'll close.
I'm a busy man. I don't want to be messing around with that.
No,
you just find a pencil, rummage around for half hour looking for a pencil.
What's better, twisting 2 screws or colouring in the latch?
Colouring in the latch, of course.
Obviously.
So where do you see the future of locksmithing?
Locksmithery.
Locksmithery going?
It's difficult to say because... But you would have assumed that things like mortise locks would have been phased out, and that what you know as a chub key.
Yeah.
I know.
On the bottom of a wooden door, a long brass key.
Oh, right. Yep.
Yeah?
Lock, yeah.
So you would have assumed that by now they would have been phased out, but they're still around. So Euro locks came in, and Euros are the ones you know on your PVC door.
Yeah.
They're still being produced and still bettering them. But smart locks, it's going to take a long time because cost implications are, if you want, like I said, biometrics to read your thumbprint or your eyes, they're thousands of pounds. These systems cost thousands. So it's a difficult thing to say, but I will just adjust with the times. I keep my finger on the pulse, as it were, with what's new. And, someone now messages me and said, I've bought this off of, I don't know, Shein or Wish or whatever. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I've been to 2 people's houses and tried to fit these Yale Digilock, the Connexus, which is the one you can open with your phone. And if your door's not right, if it's been fitted slightly askew, they just won't work.
It's relying on electronics to move it. It's never going to be strong enough.
And you can force that. You shouldn't force it, but you could force that in. But if that's running on 6 AA batteries.
All it takes, you get people that can read your car. If they're close enough, they can read the signal from your car and they can break into that. Yeah. So all they'll need is exactly the same bit of equipment just to do your door, and boom, they don't even need to make a noise in there.
The difference with...
God, I've never heard you so angry.
You weren't sitting right next to her. The difference with door locks is it's RFID, so it's something like how you pay for Apple Pay.
Ah, right. Okay.
Or Bluetooth with, and you can't
NFC, yeah.
So they're not as easy to copy. Really.
Can we go back in time? What sort of oldest lock you've dealt with, like castle key type stuff? Have you ever had to deal with some really old stuff?
No, because I think...
Pass it on to someone else?
Yeah, there's another guy that works locally and he's really good at the older stuff.
I think we've done his wedding, or an employee's wedding, yeah.
Oh, no, not him. No, he's a very angry man. No, there's another guy. And I would... How do you know? I know you're talking... Yeah, because there's not many people around here that have got employees if they're locksmiths. It's a very singular thing where you are a locksmith, and I know there's one company around here that has a few employees, so I'm assuming I know that is.
Okay.
So would you?
We'll talk after.
Because I don't even remember the name of the group.
I'll tell you.
Would you ever hire people if you needed it?
No.
You just want to go completely.
No, because I want to franchise. The reason I want to franchise this business is to grow my business without the need for micromanaging.
Okay.
If I teach you how to be a locksmith, you're not going to want to work for me. You're going to go off and do it on your own.
That's very true. Yeah.
If I teach you how to be a locksmith, you're not going to work as hard as I will for my business. You can never expect anyone to do anything that you're going to do for you as well as you will.
That's very true. I mean, we've had that discussion, haven't we, about hiring.
The reason I went self-employed is because I believe that. And don't get me wrong, there's a big thing about, the janitor needs the CEO and the CEO needs the janitor. Some people want to work for people. I don't.
I'm the same. Yeah.
I believe that a job is just over broke. They will only pay you just enough to kill your dreams. Yeah, you're never going to be rich working for someone. My plan is to make my own money and make me successful. Because that person's never going to allow you to get past them. No.
And I think it's so... I saw something online the other day that work will instantly replace you. If you die, work will instantly replace you. It won't be a moral thing.
Yeah.
You get a bucket of water and put your finger in it like that. The ripple it causes is basically you leaving. That little ripple for a couple of weeks, maybe a month.
And then that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, why work for someone that would replace you tomorrow if you died?
Yeah.
And my wife was a prime example of that. She used to work for a massive
She would
financial...
replace you if you died tomorrow.
100%. She'd replace me today. If I'm gone for more than 45 minutes.
She's already right. Swipe right.
No, she's my wife has been very, very supportive of me through everything I've done. She's a gem. When we had the fruit and veg company, she used to come to the markets. We used to go to London, and we'd drive up there at 11 o'clock at night and get back by 3. And she'd come with me to help me. Aww. And she'd be asleep on my shoulder on the van coming back, and then she'd get up and go to work.
Oh, bless.
What did she do, your wife? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I was going to say, she used to work for a financial company dealing with pensions, and she used to make this company, I think one year she made them about 8 million.
Wow.
Singularly.
Yeah.
That's what she done, because she was the very, very best at what she'd done in that industry, especially for that company, sorry. And they didn't appreciate her. So the day she left, she didn't even get a leaving card, and she'd been there for 8 years.
Oh my gosh.
That company has now got rid of a 65 out of 120 staff because they're going down the pan. She was really, really good at what she'd done. And I said to her, look, you are never, ever going to earn anything near to what you could.
Yeah.
So she trained as an eyelash technician.
Oh, yeah.
And she went self-employed. So she was working 2 jobs. So she'd do that job, come back and then do a couple of ladies' eyelashes in the evening. And she was working out of our flat when we had a flat. And she was working really hard, bless her. And then she made the plunge to leave that job and was going full-time, and she doubled her earnings overnight.
Wow.
Brilliant.
So, yeah, so now she's on maternity leave, unfortunately. So she's,
all right.
Yeah, as self-employed, you don't get anything.
All the benefits, yeah.
You don't get anything.
Nah.
That is the only downside.
You get £700 a month for self-employed maternity leave.
Wow.
Which is nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very good thing. If you've got the drive and the ambition to do well for yourself, you can make a good living. As you know, everything you earn is yours. Well, other than the tax, obviously.
Yeah,
but
taxman. Yeah.
I love the taxman.
Yeah.
So how do you find doing, because obviously you're very much solo, how do you find doing the accounts, the social media side of it, everything like that? I know you said earlier you were quite good at the social media side, but how do you find running the whole company on your own?
Some days it's stressful.
Do you have certain days to do certain things, like Mondays that you just...
No, I just do it as I go. So if I came around your house and done your lock, and say for instance you had a landlord and I had to invoice them, I'd quickly do it on my phone outside.
QuickBooks
and I'd use Zero. It's much better for integration, and just my accountant said use it. So I'll do that there and then. But the social media element, it doesn't take long to do. You know, my videos, if I put out a 30-minute video of me changing locks, you're going to go 30 seconds in, what is that?
Yeah.
You know, unless I make it really interesting, it's something you're interested in. So I do very short clips. I use the glasses, I'll get everything going, and then I'll get home and I'll quickly put them into, CapCut or into Instagram app, and I'll do it there. And then the accounts as I go. So, I'll do the correlations when I've got 5 minutes. The good thing about this job is that it's not constant. I could probably start at 10 and finish at 1, and I've done 8 jobs.
Yeah, that's very true.
So depending on where they are, it's a good thing. I've got a lot of free time. Yeah.
So this business is 6 years old. How did it affect you in COVID?
I was really busy. 2 reasons for that is because, no pun intended, I was a key worker. So, security was still, if your door doesn't work,
your door doesn't work. Yeah.
You should have named the business Key Worker.
Yeah, but I'd set this up before COVID.
Oh.
Yeah. That's right.
Key Worker, that is the perfect name for a locksmith.
That would have been during COVID, but now probably not.
Yeah, like 10 years time, people are going.
People are still walking around with Key Worker on their back and doesn't really mean it.
Promoting it for you.
Yeah. So it was really busy. I was really busy. During COVID, I opened a shop in Sittingbourne with a business partner, and unfortunately, it didn't go very well because I think he had a bit of a mental breakdown. And unfortunately, it was really bad because we opened it and it was in the papers, it was in the Kent Messenger, and we opened it during lockdown, and everyone was like, "Wow, yeah, brilliant." And it all went a bit wrong. And I sort of handed it back to him and said, "I can see where this is going. You're not putting the effort in that I am. I'm gone. And that's probably, in hindsight, probably a very, very good thing to do, because retail these days as a physical shop is very difficult.
Yeah.
Unless you're a barber or a takeaway or nails, anything that someone really needs, it's very difficult. So we had a 5,500 square foot retail unit, and we sublet some bits of it. So in hindsight, it was a very, very difficult thing to do, walking away, but it was really probably the best thing to do. So
right, one more question. Have you ever locked yourself out? Have you ever had to?
Before I was a locksmith, I did actually twice. And my dad worked for a social housing company.
Oh, right.
So he knew how to get in. And he came and rescued me twice, actually. But now I've got things in place where I can't get locked out. I can't get locked out. I've got, keys with people, or they're with me, and I know where they are at all times.
Yeah. Do you recommend the little key safes or not?
I don't recommend the little ones at all. I wouldn't even put it this way. They're made of cast aluminium. Mm-hmm. If you hit them with a hammer,
good hammer to them, yeah,
they will shatter. The ones I recommend are called a Burton XL. They are heavy. They probably weigh a good kilo, maybe a bit more, but they're police approved and they are solid. Like they're thick, and you can't. The other ones I can decode. I can get into them. These ones, you'd be there. You could take an hour trying to get. There is a way.
The button ones you can decode.
Yeah, button ones and the wheel one. The wheel ones I can get in I don't know, 20 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, which is actually a good thing, because sometimes people have said, "Oh, mum's got a key safe, but she's would like the key safe." I like that.
Really? Oh, so you'd rather do the key safe than the actual lock?
Well, because it's non-destructive.
Yeah.
I like to do non-destructive where possible, but
so your machine is tearing through it. Is it tearing through the barrel?
That's the way I open. Because if you've locked yourself out, you've either left the key on the inside, in which case I can get in, because it's not locked. If it's locked and you've lost the keys, you're going to need the lock changed anyway.
Yeah.
Why would I play about trying to pick the lock?
Yeah.
Because I've then got to pick it again to get it out the door, and then I'm wasting my time. You're going to want it changed straight in, and then replace the lock.
Cool.
So I've never locked myself out.
Right, now we're going to ask you for a song. We've got a playlist. A song of your choice. Could be your first dance, could be something lock related. Can't think of a lock related song. I've got the keys. And then we put it on our playlist, our Spotify playlist for guest songs.
Do you know the first? I've got it's kind of mixture between two songs, really.
Yeah.
It's Desiree Kissing You, and Daniel Bedingfield, If You're Not the One, but the slow version, because that was they were two songs from my wedding.
Aww.
Okay, we'll put both of them on. Really interesting to see it. Thank you so much for seeing that key in the lock. Otherwise, we'd never had this chat.
How do people find you?
Oh, yeah.
So all my socials are at Loc Doc Kent. So LOCK DOC.
So
Kent.
even Insta is Loc Doc Kent. Loc Doc.
Loc Doc
Kent.
All of them. TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram.
Perfect. On X?
No, I don't like X. I'm on Threads, but that's only because
that's weird. It just comes hand in hand with something, doesn't it?
I think Threads is a weird thing because there's a lot of bots on there, and there's a lot of people asking questions to get people to reply. And I kind of
I know what you mean.
It's just because I've got the Instagram. I've got that.
Yeah. Perfect. Thanks, mate. Really interesting to speak to you.
Thank you.
And thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time. Club Awesome, for autistic children and their families, a place where everyone belongs and fun knows no age limit.